Thank you for tuning in with us every Thursday at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. About our host, Carlotta Taylor is not just a survivor of child abuse, but has grown into what we come to know as our personal thriver against all odds, who no longer flinches at adversity, but overcomes with authority. Carlotta decided to find the courage to say yes to herself. Miss Taylor has piece by piece faced her biggest adversary, the brokenness, and healed not only herself, but has also affected thousands through her outreach and influence. Carlotta Taylor is the author of the best-selling book, No More Flinching. Getting to the heart of the matter has always been what Carlotta is about. To keep in touch, text Carlotta to 888-111. It's time for the show to begin. It wouldn't be the same without you, because this is the place people bond worldwide, sharing powerful stories, prevailing over adversity. The heart of the matter is the people's joy. Now, turn your attention to our host, Carlotta Taylor, as the show begins.
Did you know that 18 people die as a result of not receiving an organ because they're on a donor's list, and that they never get that call? They never get that, yes, we have your organ. We can move forward with your procedure. I couldn't imagine being in that position. But joining us today is Rich Thames, who not only was on that list, by the grace of God, he is a survivor, a kidney survivor today. Let's welcome to the stage, Rich Thames from San Antonio, Texas.
Hey. What's going on, Carlotta?
Hello. What's going on, Richie Rich? Oh, my God.
Living my blessed life, sister. I can't complain one bit. Cannot complain.
Yes, you are. You are doing that, and I'm so grateful to have you on the show today. And
thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Let's go ahead and get right into it. What does getting to the heart of the matter mean to you?
That's a great question. Getting to the heart of the matter is getting down to the nitty gritty and really what's inside of each and every one of us. And I believe each and every one of us was created for greatness, but sometimes we get programmed for mediocrity. Our society, this world that we live in, but we have to get back to that greatness of our calling of our Heavenly Father, what He's put us on this earth to do, and living out our purpose. I believe that you are doing that with the Heart of the Matter show. So I want to just salute you, my sister, and say I appreciate you for everything that you're doing.
Okay, well, thank you so much. I'm not sure. I think we had a little technical difficulty there. I'm jumping off of Wi-Fi over here to make sure that we have good visual. Guests, if you're on, please let me know if you can see us and hear us good. I am live from Houston, Texas, so I'm not in my normal spot. Shanetta Chrysler, I see you're on. If you would, let me know if you can hear us and see us clearly, okay? We definitely need to know. All right, so we always rewind the hands of time here on the Heart of the Matter show. Even though you're an adult, Rich, a lot of things happen during that child development period, which is very serious. Some people have great lives. Some people have mediocre. Some people have horrific childhood. And sometimes it affects their future. Sometimes they reach beyond the breaking point. It's kind of like I did. So tell us about your Rich, fill us in.
So my childhood was awesome. I can't lie about it. My childhood was great. I grew up with both parents in the house, and in our community, oftentimes that's not the case. Both of my parents were hard workers. They work. I had five siblings in the house with us, and my parents were very hard workers. Struggled financially, but worked hard to put food on the table, and we never missed a meal. And we might not have been rich monetarily, but our family grew up rich in love and kindness. So it was always laughter in the house. We fight with each other and all of that stuff like any other siblings, but nobody outside of our house could touch us. So that's one thing about it. We'll fight with each other, but let somebody on the outside mess with us, you're gonna hear it from all of us. But growing up, I grew up in Lorain, Ohio, Northeast Ohio, right outside of Cleveland. Yep, that's where I was born and raised, and very blue collar, hardworking type of people, hard nosed. So I grew up just learning how to overcome, just seeing my parents make things happen, seeing people around me make things happen. And my childhood, like I said, it was awesome. I couldn't complain about it, and I wouldn't want to grow up anywhere else. But I definitely had to get up out of there and go see some different things in life. So
that is amazing. Just when I hear Cleveland, Ohio, I think of my homegirls, and I love Cleveland. It's so pretty out there. I love to go for walks and just that atmosphere, that energy. I love it. So it's good to know that you was nearby, had an amazing childhood. I guess that's why you're just so amazing now as an adult, because you be doing a thing.
I appreciate it. I just learned over time and through all of these trials, tribulations, things that we go through in life, that, life is short, it's precious, and we got to take advantage of each and every day. I recently celebrated a birthday, and people was asking me, what I want for my birthday and what I plan on doing. And I share with them, I live my birthday is every day. Every day I wake up, it's another day, and I treat it like that. I treat each and every day like it's the last one. And one of these days I'm going to be right. You know what I'm saying? So I go out there and I live life to the fullest each and every day. I smile, I have a positive attitude, and it helps you deal with the difficult situations that life is going to throw at you. It happens to all of us, but it's all about our mindset and how we deal with it.
All about mindset and how you deal with it. I love it. Thank you. That is amazing right there. So just walk us through life the next few years. I know you, if I'm not mistaken, maybe some military things going on. I'm not sure, I think.
Yeah.
And so how was life for you during your high school years and college years and all of that? Just give it to us in a good way, and then we're going to get to it.
Okay. Well, definitely high school years. It was a lot of fun. I honestly did not take school seriously. I did not go to college. I was not a stellar student. I was one of those people. So I'll just backtrack a little bit. I'll tell you some of the things that I did deal with, some of the obstacles during my childhood. So when I want to say I was about in the 7th grade, my brother that's right above me, as soon as he turned 18, he ended up getting locked up. And he was arrested at the wrong place at the wrong time, and was sentenced to 5 years in prison. So my older brother graduated high school and went straight to prison for 5-year sentence. And it was one of those things that really, really hurt our family. It really, really impacted my mom and, my father and, all of us. We had to deal with that. And that was around the time where I started kind of rebelling a little bit, got into some trouble, was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and not really at the wrong place at the wrong time, but just sometimes our environment, being in a certain environment, we adapt to certain things. And I ended up getting hooked up with some gangs. And, as a young age, started carrying a gun to school at a young age and just was, just out there wilding. And it's not like my parents, I was good at home. I was good at school, but at the same time, I had this little wild side that a lot of people didn't know about until it caught up with me. And it ended up catching up with me right before I graduated from high school. I ended up at 17 years old getting arrested for gun possession, underage consumption of alcohol. So long story short, leaving basketball practice, I was an athlete, leaving basketball practice and went to a store. The store was in a bad neighborhood. And this store was known for selling us, alcohol at underage. So I go in the store and get something to drink, dap my homie up. As soon as I come out the store, the cops roll up on us because they think we did a hand-to-hand exchange. So threw us on the car, found a gun, first time in my life having a gun pointed to my head. So I went, do not pass go, do not collect $200, go straight to jail. But I thank God that at that time, the gun wasn't loaded. That was the only thing that kept me from catching a felony. So it was a grace of God because, going back, this is one of those stories that very few people know about. Going back, I was actually on my way before basketball practice to purchase bullets for the gun. And the guy was a friend of mine. He would not sell them to me. He had them, showed them to me. I had the money, but he would not sell them to me. And I understand right now that that was the prayers of my mother, the prayers of my grandmother, the prayers of my aunties, the prayers of the people in my family that were keeping me, even though I wasn't on that right path. So that was like one of those most traumatic experiences of my young adult life, you know, being 17 years old and getting thrown in jail. But I thank God my mom was very perseverant about getting this stuff off of my record and not having it follow me for the rest of my life. So I did some community service things to actually expunge it off my record. And I saw a pattern of the people that were there around me. And the pattern was people getting locked up and people getting killed. And I knew that I didn't want to continue down that path. So I left home. As soon as I graduated from high school, I left home and went on this journey to try to kind of find myself and find a better way. And it took me all across the country, you know, I started off going to a Job Corps. I went to Job Corps in Atlanta. I went to Job Corps in Louisville, Kentucky. And again, you know, making some stupid decisions, got kicked out of there and, you know, almost ended up back in jail till I finally decided that I have to do something different. And that's when I decided to join the Air Force. So right at 21, right after my 21st birthday, I joined the Air Force. And that was one of the best decisions that I ever made because it got me out of the environment that I was continuing to find myself in a negative pattern.
Wow. Talk about getting to the heart of the matter. Thank you for sharing that. I had
problem.
No idea. And
most people don't.
Look how God protected you. Like, you was going down the wrong path, hanging with the wrong people, happened to have a gun, but it just wasn't loaded. That was the only thing that kept you from having a felony on your record for the rest of your life.
Yes, ma'am. Wow. Nothing but God. Nothing but God.
Wow. And we haven't even started with the main story just yet. But
yeah.
It's a build-up. It's a build-up. Mm-hmm. And now let's go into the area where I really want to dive into right now, because if I'm not mistaken, you are military, right?
Yeah, I'm retired. I actually got medically retired in 2015. So I started in 2001, spent 14 years in the Air Force before getting medically retired in 2015.
Chair Force, okay.
Whatever.
All right. Well, I can't talk because I started out in the Army and then I transitioned to the Air Force a little later. However, so you were in the military. What was your rank?
I retired as a tech sergeant, E6.
Okay. All right. E6. All right. Yep. And were you stationed anywhere particular?
So I moved around a lot. Started off in Florida, Eglin Air Force Base in Florida, went to Charleston Air Force Base in South Carolina, then went to Oklahoma. From Oklahoma, went to Korea to Japan.
That's your best life.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then Japan to San Antonio, and San Antonio is where I ended up retiring.
Amazing. So, okay, so you're doing your thing, and you were married at the time. Your wife Rosie, right?
Yep.
Okay, my mom.
We actually met in it, so you'll never forget that one.
No, I can't.
Yeah, we actually met in the Air Force. Met while we were in tech school in California, and just became friends. We met through a mutual friend and became friends. Stayed in touch, and as we stayed in touch, our relationship grew. And it started off as a long distance relationship. I was stationed in Florida. She was stationed in South Carolina. So we ended up going back and forth, visiting each other and getting serious. And it was right before one of my deployments. I deployed to, I think I was going to Saudi Arabia this time. And right before that deployment, we were really getting serious. And I knew that once I got back, this was a woman I wanted to marry. So had to kind of start asking those questions and planting those seeds and kind of digging around to figure out where her mindset was at.
Isn't that beautiful? Don't make me start crying over here. Story. Okay, so 15 years in the military. At what point was it when you got the devastating news?
So I remember it. So I was stationed in Okinawa, Japan, but I got deployed to Afghanistan. And while in Afghanistan, I started breaking out with some rashes and some really bad rashes. Some things was happening on my skin, and started off like on my shoulder. And I went to see the doctor, and they're like, it's probably, maybe a staph infection. You're at the gym all the time. So they gave me some stuff it kind of went down a little bit, but never went all the way away. But it came back more aggressively, and it came back and started moving to other areas. Had a spot on my head, spot on my shoulder, on my arms, started spreading. So I kept on going to the doctor, but they kept on just saying, they think it's this, they think it's that, giving me some cream to put on it. And, hopefully it goes away. So come back from Afghanistan, was in Japan for a little bit. And when I finally came back to this,
what year was
I'm sorry.
That? What year was
this?
This
was the end of 2013, 2014, beginning of 2014 is when I came back from Afghanistan. And we moved from Okinawa, Japan to San Antonio. And that was a point where I was like, I need to see a dermatologist because this is not going away. It's continuing to get worse. It's spreading. So when I asked to see a dermatologist, they did a biopsy. And the biopsy came back that I had discoid lupus. So I don't know if you're familiar with lupus, but there's two types. There's a discoid lupus that affects the skin. You see people with like the butterflies around their face and, have real bad skin reaction. So they thought it was just that type. So they gave me some medication and said, we're going to do some blood work just in case and sent me home. Well, the very next day in the morning, I was on my way to PT, on my way to the gym. The doctor called me. He said, Sergeant Thames, I need you to stop what you're doing and go to the emergency room right now. And I didn't know what was going on. He just told me, your blood work came back and it's alarming. We need you to go to the emergency room right now. So I let my supervisor know, didn't know what was going on. When I got to the emergency room, they pretty much started running all kind of tests, doing all kind of blood work. But what it came back was I actually had systemic lupus as well. So it's very rare, but I had both types. Whoa. And the systemic lupus was attacking my kidneys, and my kidneys were at 30% by the time they found it. So what happened was I was experiencing symptoms over the years, but I didn't know exactly what it was. I'm a basketball player, so I'm playing basketball and I'm having these knee pains, and these pains are lasting for like weeks after I play. And I'm going to the doctor and asking what's wrong. He's like, how old are you? I'm like 34. He's like, yeah, that's around that age. You've been playing basketball a long time. Your knees are probably just breaking down. So he didn't catch that stuff. I'm, working out and I'm very competitive and I'm one of the fastest people in our group. And when I'm working out and we're at the end of our run, I'm pushing myself and I'm pushing myself and I'm giving it all I got. And it's people that I know that I'm faster than that are passing me up, and whatever I'm doing, I can't catch them. So I'm like, man, what in the world? I'm really getting old really fast. What's going on? So things like that were happening, but I didn't really understand it at the time. But after the diagnosis, it came back. And now I started realizing some of the things that I've been dealing with for years, but just pushing through because I didn't know any better. But I ended up staying in the hospital for about a week as they did all of these tests and everything. And they just came back and said, your kidneys are to a point now that we don't expect them to recover. All we can do is try to minimize the damage from here on out. So that was very shocking because I was pretty much the picture of health before that, and then getting this diagnosis and then starting to understand what lupus is and what it does, especially to Black males. My doctor told me up front, he said, this is something that kills Black males. So you have to take this very seriously. And it was definitely one of those things where it was an eye-opening experience and a shocker.
Wow. Just already, that is just quite alarming. Imagine being an athlete and you're kicking tail and you see yourself slowing down, the breakouts and then the news. And then it's like, okay, what is this really? Not really knowing and still persevering because you're just that person who's just going to push through.
Oh, yeah.
Do it with character. That's what I love about it. How I first learned about your story, Rich, and I know you know this. I had to think about how I first find out about it. And that's because we're in the John Maxwell team group together. And
yes, ma'am.
I happen, I have a heart for military, just like I have a heart for law enforcement, but I have a heart for people, period, who are thriving. And I first saw your picture in your military uniform, and I saw the post in the John Maxwell team group.
Yep.
And when I read it and I saw that you were in need of a kidney, that was the first time in my whole life that I ever was like, oh Lord, do you want me to be a potential donor in case he needs that. Like I've never thought about that before, but I guess it had to be everything mixed together. The military, the John Maxwell team, you and your family, your wife's name's Rosie, my mom's name's Rosie. So it was just like all these signs, and I'm like, Lord, what is this? What is this? So I think I'm not sure if I reached out to you, maybe.
Yep, you sure did. You messaged me on Facebook and we started asking questions, how can you be a donor? What does it take? What's going on and how can you help? And it was just, it was eye-opening. It was a breath of fresh air because it was something that I was kind of wrestling, like, do I share it in this group or not? But I know that group is full of people with faith, and I'm a person of faith, and I believe in the power of prayer. And I was to the point when I made that post that I'm going to get me a kidney transplant. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. At that point, I had been on dialysis for over a year. And dialysis ain't no joke, especially for somebody like myself. I love to travel. I love to be out and about, and I love people. And it was just making my life more complicated than I wanted it to be at that point. And I'm like, I'm not going to let this thing beat me. I'm not going to let this thing control my life. I'm going to continue to live my life, and I'm going to get me a transplant, or God is going to heal me miraculously, one or the two. I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm coming out on the other side of this thing better. So I was to the point where I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I knew something had to change. So I made this picture with all of my information on there and just started sharing it with everybody on social media. And that thing got shared, I want to say almost 3,000 times. And it's just a blessing because the actual donor came from that, but actually, this relationship came from that as well. And It's just something that I thank God for, because he puts those certain people in your life at a certain time. And I don't believe in coincidence. I believe in divine appointments. And I see now that was a divine appointment that me and you connected through my search for a kidney donor. And your willingness to step up and say, hey, I will help you. Even though you didn't even know me. You didn't know me from Adam. But still stepping up and saying, hey, how can I help? So I definitely want to give you a shout out and let you know that I appreciate you for that, my sister.
Well, thank you, Rich. No
problem.
Years, like I'm literally tearing up right now, just playing it back in my mind because it's still fresh, and just being so grateful for your life and the victory of you being on the other side of that.
Yes, ma'am.
Amazing. Because I was
God is good.
I hope you make it. Look, I was going to be the last one to come up and say, okay. But God made a way for you to have a donor, which was amazing. I saw that story too. And I think you went on and did some things and shared your story, maybe writing a book. Are y'all still writing a book?
Oh yeah. I should have sent you the picture, but yeah, it's crazy how things are working out. We're supposed to release it in March, and some things just happened that we're gonna have to push the release date back. Actually, one of the editors that was working on our manuscript, and this just goes to show how short life is. One of the editors that was working on our manuscript had a car accident, and from that car accident, she got a staph infection and ended up passing away.
Oh no!
I just found out about this yesterday, so I don't know her. It's just a connection through, again, another John Maxwell team member who's helping us with the publishing. But it's just a sad story because she's a young lady, 43 years old, and from a car infection to a staph infection, or car accident to a staph infection, and now is no longer with us. So it's just sad, but I just one of those situations that make you appreciate life, again, living each and every day like it's your last one, because none of us know when we're going to leave this earth. But my thing is, whenever I leave this earth, people are going to be able to look back and say, you know what, that dude lived his life and he didn't let nothing stop him. And, that's the type of thing I think about.
Yes. So going into surgery, were you nervous?
So honestly, I wasn't. My wife would tell you, I'm one of those most laid back people. I don't let anything bother me. I don't let stuff get to me. And it wasn't my first surgery. I had to have surgery to have I did peritoneal dialysis. And what they do is they actually insert a catheter inside your stomach, and you do your own dialysis treatments every single night. Because I love to travel and I don't like to be held down, it was a two choices. I could do dialysis in a center where I have to be there, 3 times a week, sitting in a certain place. And I love my freedom. I work hard to earn my freedom. So I'm like, I don't want nothing holding me back. So I chose to do the peritoneal so I could still travel. I could still go on cruises and things like that. So I went through a surgery prior to get the catheter placed. So it wasn't my first surgery. And I have a lot of faith. I'm one of those people that I know God is looking out for me. I know I'm one of his children. I go out there and say I'm one of his favorite children, So I wasn't worried at all. Yeah, I wasn't worried at all. I wasn't nervous. I was just looking forward to the other side of it because I knew God was going to heal me. I didn't have any doubt whatsoever. I just didn't know what form or fashion or how long it would take. So when I'm on my way to the surgery in the operating room, I'm smiling, I'm happy because I know what's on the other side of it.
Right. Speaking of being happy and smiling, let's just take a look at this quick clip of Rich in the hospital.
Say bye, ICU.
That was me leaving ICU right after my surgery.
Did I hear they see me rolling? They hate me.
Yep.
Was that you singing?
That was me singing it.
Wow. And that was surgery, right? Was it after surgery?
The day after surgery when I got released to ICU to get switched into the regular center, that's where I was at. Hey, Mom, that's my mom right there, Glenda Johnson.
Hello, Mother.
That's one of the reasons I'm still here today. One of the biggest reasons I'm still here today. That woman right there in her prayers.
Yes. I gotta say the same thing for my mom, Rosie Payne. I gotta shout out my mama too.
Shout out Miss Rosie.
Yes, my mom is, oh my God, so amazing. My dad too.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. I thank God for some beautiful, it's like angel parents to me.
Amen.
Form up angels, really. They look over you, protect you, love you, always there, period. And
amen.
I'm so grateful that you didn't catch that charge back when you were in your youth.
Man.
Just decision.
Man.
You was paid for the bullets.
Man.
You was
It's crazy. It's crazy because I know it wasn't anything but God. It had to be God because he had them. I had the money. We already arranged everything, but he wouldn't and he couldn't tell me why. But I know it was the Holy Spirit. It was those prayers that saying, nope, don't do it.
Yes. Wow. So you're out of the hospital. How long has it been since, what's the post-surgery date? How long has it been?
I got surgery on January 3rd of 2020. So it's been over a year now. So I'm over a year, after my transplant, and everything is great. My levels are great. Kidney function is great. My doctors, they rave about my improvement and everything that's going on. And I became an advocate. I actually host a Facebook Live show. We actually did our show at 6:00. Me and another guy that I actually met through a Facebook support group for people on peritoneal dialysis. And get this, we met on Facebook like you and I, found out we're both in San Antonio. I had a transplant, and 2 weeks later, he had a transplant at the same hospital. Now, not only that, Carlotta, but get this. Our appointments for our follow-ups ended up being on a very same day. So every day when we were going to our doctor's appointments, myself, him, and my wife and his wife were in the waiting room together. So we built a relationship and actually started a show to help other people get transplants, get awareness, and help people who are still waiting on a kidney transplant, to help them during that difficult time and let them know that it is light on the other side. Actually, one of our guests that was on today, he had his transplant maybe a week ago. So we had somebody on our show that was on dialysis during the show, got an actual donor during the show, and got a transplant. So yes, ma'am. God is good.
Goodness. Wow. Amazing. Let's take a quick break and we will be right back.
Champion. Last one standing, you a champion. Anybody winning, you a champion. champion. Everybody winning, you a champion. 24/7, nothing in between. All of this golden and turn me a king. Turn me a king. To be the greatest, you gotta compete. Hot like the sun, I'm bringing the heat. One verse, one it can't stop. I was made to win, it was made as a copy. It's obvious, I body this. So if we top 10, I'ma top the list. Gotta do it for your team, put the city on the map. Never argue back, tell them look at the stats. No matter where you at, leave it all on the track. Cause winners gon' win and the losers gon' chat. Yeah, you can tell by my step on the field, I'm a champion.
I'm Marshall Thompson, the Unknown Warrior, WKA MMA National Champion. If you want to be the best, come train with the best.
Thank you for tuning in to the Heart of the Matter show. Joining us today is Rich Thames out of San Antonio, Texas. He is a kidney transplant survivor, but that is not all to his story. He is breaking it down, getting to the heart of the matter of how in just a split moment in his youth, he could have caught a felony. And later in life, he caught a disease, but he is a champion and a thriver. And he's giving back. He's sharing his amazing story today. Getting right back at you, Rich. Wow. Just wow.
Yeah, it's a powerful testimony when everything comes to light. You know, I'm actually working on my own book, the first book, A Call to Love. I'm writing that book with my kidney donor because it's an amazing story in itself, how that transpired. But I'm actually writing my own book as well, just to show that story, to encourage people that it doesn't matter how you start off, it matters how you finish. You continue to persevere, overcome, and have faith in God, and you can get through anything, absolutely anything. There's nothing that can stop you when you have that right mindset, you have that faith in God, and you're willing to work and overcome these obstacles that come our way. But to be honest, these obstacles come to make us better. You know, I tell people that we grow through what we go through. If we have that right mindset. Sometimes you'll let that stuff knock you down or knock you backwards or get you off track. But if you have that right mindset, you're able to grow through these things. These are learning lessons and life lessons that you can take to apply to the rest of your life, but also help somebody else not have those same issues, those same mistakes, those same struggles that you had to overcome.
Absolutely. Now, so you being a kidney plant survivor is not all there is to you, because you're also a businessman, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I've been in business. It's crazy to think that now, over 14 years, we celebrated 14 years in business January. And that situation was kind of crazy in itself, because I was introduced to network marketing, an amazing industry, but I was introduced to it the wrong way. So I had a negative mindset about the whole industry. I was one of those people like, man, I would never do one of those things. And, don't talk to me about your little home-based business. I was so negative and skeptical about the whole industry.
Pause. Let's break that down. Let's get to the heart of the matter of how someone can come to you the wrong way with the business. We need to know.
Oh Lord. So I was presented several different businesses, several different home-based opportunities. And I'll just give you one experience. A brother that I went to church with, and you go to church with people and you think, good Christian brother, somebody that I'm cool with. We were on the same age. And one of these days he I forgot exactly how it happened, but he invited me, or we invited him over for dinner. I think we invited him over for dinner or something like that. And when he gets there, he's telling me about something that he wants to show me. And it's this energy drink. And I'm not even an energy drink drinker, so he's like, man, here, taste this. Tell me what you think about it. And I'm not an energy drink drinker. So now I'm good. But he insists on me taking it. So I'm all right. I'll taste it. And I taste it. And I'm just being honest with him. Like, it's not for me. And he was upset with me. He wanted to present his business with me. And I didn't want to pursue it. And he was upset with me. And honestly, that was the last time we spoke. Like, honestly, he didn't even speak to me after that. And I'm like, wow, because I don't want to, do this energy drink thing with you. That's how it is. And it was another instance where I actually got something in the mail. And it was something in the mail, telling you won something or whatever, go to this place and pick up your prize. And, young and naive, I'm like, man, I'm going to get my prize or whatever. And me and my wife go and they sit us down and they start presenting this information to us. And I'm like, I just came here for my prize. I'm one of those upfront and straight up people. Like, let's get to the point. I'm here for my prize. Where's my prize at? And this dude was upset. He started loosening his tie. My wife like, this dude act like he want to fight you. I'm like, he don't want to get beat up over here. So those are like my experiences that I went through. So I had this idea in my head that all of these businesses were the same. So I was one of those people that industry and said I would never do something like that until I was presented with the right information, the right way. And I saw something that fit my needs and saw something that I could not only help myself, but I could help others with. And it's been amazingly successful for us, even though we have no knowledge in the industry, no history in the industry, no background, but just following the leaders and learning to put people first. It really will help you set yourself up. So yes, ma'am, definitely got to thank God for our business.
Okay, amazing. You want to share about what their business is, or you just kind of like want
to no, absolutely, because it's something that can help so many people. As you can see behind me, Financial Peace University, Dave Ramsey. I'm all about making my money go further. I want to set myself up and my family up, not only to be financially independent, but to build generational wealth. I think it's so important that we start tapping into what I think our community has been missing for a long time. And that's having the mindset that this is not just something I'm working for myself, but I'm working to leave a legacy for my children's children. The Bible says a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. So that's one of the things that I focus on. And our business is Team National. What we do is we help people save money on the things that they buy anyway, just by joining a larger group. And they pay us just to get the word out. So when I saw the information, honestly, I was skeptical. But when I got the information, I took a lot of notes because I was trying to pick it apart, because I saw a lot of other businesses. I asked a ton of questions, but asking my questions, I understood that if I didn't own this membership, it was going to cost me money. And that membership has saved us tens of thousands of dollars over the years and created a very powerful income for us that's willable to our children. And it's just crazy because the personal growth and development that I got from the business, I think that, along with the network and the connection of the right people, is the most valuable part. It's not just the money, but it's just understanding that, number one, if you do right by people, you'll be successful. Number two, if you have that right mindset, you reprogram your mind, because again, we're all created for greatness, but we're programmed for mediocrity. You know, we're not taught in school to go out and become entrepreneurs or business owners. What do they teach us? They teach us to go out and work for somebody else. Now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with a job. There is absolutely nothing wrong with a job. There's a lot of services and things out there that we need. But at the same time, you are more than your job, and you can do more than your job. And I understood that through our business and through getting around the right people. And while I was on active duty, I started working our business part-time. And it wasn't one of those overnight success stories. We struggled for years. We did not make money right away, but we saved money right away. And I got addicted to the personal growth and development. As you can see behind me, I got a ton of books. I'm a reader now. I'm reading all the time because I realized this information is out there. But in order for you to get it, you got to pick up a book. People have went through, they got the answers, and they wrote them down in a book for you. Now, if you don't pick it up and read it, that's on you. So once I started understanding that, I became a reader, and it's just turned to so many things, like starting our own business. You know, we have our home-based business, but we started our own LLC, our own business, and we're starting multiple businesses off of that brand of Growing to Greatness. And Growing to Greatness is just about helping us tap in to our own potential, realizing that the greatness is within us, but we have to work to pull it out. And that's where that personal growth and development comes from.
Yes. I've also seen you all with some T-shirts and stuff like that. Do you have
this
or something?
Yeah, this is one of them, Living My Blessed Life, Growing to Greatness. And this is something that I actually started with my family during the pandemic. So during the pandemic, you know, our kids were home doing a virtual learning type thing. And I just wanted to use that time wisely. So I didn't know how to design T-shirts or anything like that, but I just went on YouTube and figured out how to design T-shirts, how to start a T-shirt business, started looking at the different types of businesses that we can do. And I taught my kids, taught my wife how to design them. And all of us started designing these shirts together. So this is like a family business that we can build together. But not just that, we're starting courses and curriculums to help educate children and adults about the lessons, the life lessons. And one of the things that, you know, it kind of frustrates me, our kids go to a private Christian school. You know, I love it. They get a really great education. But honestly, the things that they learn in school does not apply to normal adult life. So there's a lot of lessons that if we're not taught at home, we're starting off behind the power curve as we turn into adults. So what we're going to do with Growing to Greatness is help the youth, but also help the adults that wasn't taught this stuff, because we learn, you know, you already know, you know, we're on the same path. We learn later on in life, but if we could set our children up and let them learn these lessons at an early age, that's how we continue to produce that generational wealth. But because it's going to start from the education part. And, you know, we can't teach what we don't know. That's why, again, we got to be on those books and reading and learning and growing and then passing that knowledge on.
Yes. Great information. Great rollout, layout. I love the family unit thing, and you being not only just that person out in society, but that family man, even at home, leading the wife and the children. That's just beautiful. And I did want to say something back when you were talking about, you know, somebody approaching you the wrong way when it comes to business opportunities, network marketing. Listen, a lot of times they get coached to do that. And so I am that coach. I'm going to tell you right now. Yeah, I was coached to do the same thing, and maybe I couldn't never really wrap my mind around it, but don't cut your family or friends off.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to partner with you in a particular business, because if that business doesn't work out, that upline, they just when we know what we found, when they're not making money off of you. And now where your family and friends at now? You know, run them all away. So yeah, wise with that decision.
Because everybody's not been to be in business with you, and you have to understand that. Sometimes that's a hard lesson. It was for me, because I know. For me, when I saw the information, I got super excited about it. And I thought everybody that I showed was going to be excited and everybody's going to join me. And when it didn't happen, when it didn't happen like that, you know, that opens the door for that disappointment. And sometimes we deal with disappointment in different ways. But again, going back to the personal growth and development, understanding that, hey, a no right now might just be a not right now. And that might be, you know, later on they might join you, or even if they don't, you know, it's not for everybody. And everybody's not going to see that same vision or have that same vision. But you remain friends and remain cordial and do what you're supposed to do. You know, do right by people, and it will work out in your end. And you'll find the right people if you do it the right way. But if you're doing it the wrong way, good luck to you, because it's probably not going to work out for you.
Right. You have to be the leader that you want to see. And I
absolutely
love that. So what's next? Anything you would like to share with us that you have not spoken about already? So this is just your time right now to just, you know, give us your heart.
So when you talk about the family, you know, not just being successful in business, but being successful in family, I definitely have to give my wife a shout out. So I want to talk about my wife for a minute, because I'm going to be honest with you. There were some times where she had to pull me back in and like, listen, bro, you over here pouring into all of these people out here in the business. Don't neglect the family. And sometimes that's hard for us, because in my mindset, I'm out here working and grinding and providing for my family. But at the same time, you have to have that presence as well. And, you know, I know for me, I'm very single-minded, focused, and that's a good thing, but also a bad thing, because my wife will tell you, even when I was in the military and I'm preparing for a promotion, I would lock myself in my office and study. Don't bother me. Don't talk to me. You know, I'm in here and I'm focused on what I need to do, because I got a goal that I want to achieve. So I can be so single-minded focused that sometimes you neglect other things that need your attention. So she had to help me and understand, like, listen, and I just looked at other people's examples as well. I would hate to be this super successful businessman, but to lose my family. So I had to reel it in and understand that, listen, you have to make a way. And it's a struggle. I'm not going to sit up here and act like I got it all figured out or we're perfect or anything like that. But it's just realizing that, hey, you have to set yourself up to where the people who matter the most, and that is your family, because, you know, you're going to realize sometimes the people that you start with are not going to be the people that you end with.
Say that again.
The people that you start with are not going to be the same people that you end with.
Oh, okay.
So when you putting all of this time, effort, and energy into these other people, you know, something else comes along or something like that, those people are gone, but your family is going to be there. So you got to make sure you take care of your family, you do what's right by your family. And, you know, I had to learn that the hard way. And it was just one of those things that I'm thankful for my wife. And that's why I wanted to spend some time talking about her, because it's so important that you're connected to the right people. And that's one of the things that, you know, I always give her praise, because she always motivates me and encourages me to do better and to be better and to strive for more, and not just to, you know, sit back and say, all right, we're good in this area, but what about this area over here? So it's always a constant looking for improvements and ways to get better. That's one of the things that we thrive on, and one of the things that helps us. So I definitely got to give my wife Rosie a shout out. She is a phenomenal partner, business partner, wife, mother, friend, all of the above. So
I miss
and
Rosie.
and she's doing some amazing things too. You know, she's a best-selling author. My daughter's a best-selling author, and she coaches best-selling authors. So that's something that, and she's still active duty in the Air Force. That's something that she started pursuing her passion. She's also a very a sought after speaker, and just she's doing her thing and setting herself up. She retires 1 July. That, you know, she's setting herself up just to, you know, move from those boots to the, you know, the stilettos and the red bottoms or whatever that she want to go into, and, you know, help people to tell their story, help people get their story out, and help them become better. So it's so important to be connected to the right person.
Yes, thank you so much for your transparency and just being an open book and sharing different facets of life and encourage people. So listen, make sure you share this message by any way possible. If you're tuning in on Facebook, hit the share, share the love. Somebody needs to hear this story. If you're tuning in by way of E360 TV, share the link with somebody. If you're tuning in by YouTube, share the link with somebody. We need to get this story out, because you never know, not just the kidney part, but even, you know, I'm really inspired by him having the weapon and no bullets in it. That's a message to somebody.
Man, nothing but God. That's all I can say. Nothing but God. My mom is on here. I know she remembers that, because that was one of the things, and that was another, you know, thing that really hit me, like just having her go through that with my older brother. And I saw what it did to her, you know, him being in prison, and then me being put in that same situation. And I remember being behind that jail cell and like, man, my mom gonna have to find out. And, you know, it was just one of those things where it was breaking my heart in there, knowing what it's going to do to her. But I just thank God for the outcome, that it didn't end like the enemy intended for it to end. She's on her. She said, yes, I do remember. I bet she does, because I remember her and my dad coming and picking me up from the jail cell. And I remember, you know, that disappointment on their face. And I just remember myself, like, because here's one thing, and I'll just share this. I had some experiences with law enforcement before then. And, you know, I know you have your experience in law enforcement as well. And I'm not one of those people that talk about all the good or all the bad, but just my own personal experiences. And I've been harassed by police. I've been assaulted by police, even in junior high. I had an incident where my mom had to come up to the school because a police officer assaulted me in school in front of the principal. So, yeah, it was just crazy the way that we grew up. And some of these cops, they just have this reputation. And one of the things that one of the cops said while he was arresting me, like, they knew I was a basketball player. They knew I was in high school. And they said, your basketball career is over. You know, you're not going back to high school. You're going to be in prison. Like, they were really, you know, trying to, you know, talk down and beat you up even before they take you to the cell and all of this stuff. So, you know, just, you know, that experience let me know that this is not a place I want to be. This is not where I want my future to be. So it was a big wake-up call for me, especially to get out of there without that felony charge and to be able to continue to play basketball, continue to go to school, and continue to live my life.
Wow. Praise God for all of that. Amazing story, amazing purpose. Thank you so much for sharing. Is there anything else on your heart, or either what's next? Are you working on anything next?
Oh yeah. So we're working on books. We're working on curriculum again to help people. We're working on a lot. My wife is actually working to help people get published. So if you got somebody out there and you want to tell your story, hit us up, because we love to help you get your story out there. And one of the things that my wife and we've been talking about for a while is actually, doing our own thing, kind of helping married entrepreneurs, because you already know it's one of those things where it's a struggle,
Yeah.
it's a struggle finding that balance and having, that drive and that determination to be successful, but at the same time having to manage that household and that relationship with the husband and wife. And again, we're not perfect. We're not that couple that got it all together, but we're open and transparent, and we're always looking to learn and help other people. So we love connecting with people. We love helping people, and we're just looking for more and more ways to do that. And again, with my wife approaching her retirement soon, there's going to be a lot more that you'll definitely hear and see from us.
Yes, I can't wait. We're going to have both of you all on the show next time.
Oh,
okay?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
There's layers to this, and I'm sure adding the additional component of your wife, Rosie, is going to make everything come together. I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Rich, you've just always been that person, eager to help, eager to just step in. What can I do? Anything I can do. You're just that person. And it's no wonder why you were one of God's favorites. And I'm so grateful that your surgery went well. And I didn't have to go through surgery, because I already, if he can't find nobody, I got to go. I went through the testing and everything. I don't know if you even knew that.
I remember. Yeah, we had a conversation about it.
Yeah, so I was the last leg.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you more than you know, because it takes a lot. It's not an easy thing, and it's not a small thing. So we don't take it lightly, or we don't take it for granted that somebody's even considering, even just to think about it, to have that thought to say, hey, what can I do to help this person? I'm willing to go through the process to find out if I'm an eligible candidate to donate a piece of myself, one of my vital organs, to somebody else. Like, that's big.
Big.
That's real big.
It was just a God moment. God had his hands on you and over your life, period.
Oh, yeah.
And everything was in line. Like TD Jake says, I like to use this, nothing just happens. And so I was very grateful. Your donor through. I was like, if it has to be me, so be it. So I'm just grateful everything worked out for you. Looking forward to the things that you and your wife and your family have in store and what's next. So thank you for being an amazing guest on the show. I really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it, and definitely looking forward to next time, and looking forward to having you on our show when we started, because I already know when you do something, you do. And I just want to congratulate you on all your success. I see you out there shining, and it's just exciting to see that, because I know what it takes to make it work, and you making it work, not just for yourself, but for your team. And it's showing, and it's exciting to see that.
Yes, thank you so much. How can people contact you if they want to reach out to you?
So you can contact me on Facebook. I'm very easy to find, Rich Thames, on IG at Rich Thames, on Clubhouse at Rich Thames. Any one of those platforms you can contact me on.
Well, all right. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Rich, again. And have a great day, okay?
Thank you.
Wow, what an amazing story. I am just really full of the content of Rich's story and the different components and facets of his story. Be sure to tune in. You do not want to miss this show. So if you're catching the tail end, you got to catch the replay. All right? Be sure to catch the replay, and be sure to share the love with others. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you for tuning in to The Heart of the Matter. If you would like to sponsor an episode or be a guest on the show, email theheartofthemattershow@gmail.com. We look forward to seeing you next Thursday for another amazing episode.